Hey everybody, it's Nicole, and I am back doing my first video in a really long time. But today we're going to unbox this obnoxiously large collector's edition for Darksiders 3. This is the Apocalypse Edition that includes the game, a steel case, and a few large figures. So some cool stuff in the box. Just to give you an idea of how large this box is, it is about 46 and a half inches long. So this is huge. So I'm going to figure out how to open this thing up. Well, hello Dinah. Are you interested in seeing what's in the box? So I'm going to open it up and we will see what we got. Okay, so I have cut the tape all along the top of the box. So I think that I can just lift this up, and here we go. And this is, good God, it's kind of heavy. So let me run around here again, and you can see what it's like when you first open the box. And you're immediately presented with the 4 figures that this comes with. Now, I don't think there's a good way for me to hold this up and get into everything. So I'm just going to set it up like this, and I'm going to pull things out one by one. So, the first figure is Fury. And Fury is the protagonist of Darksiders 3. You can't see her very well inside the box here. I will be taking these out so you can see them. But this is a nice large figure. I wasn't sure exactly how big they would be. They gave dimensions, but kind of not sure exactly what it's going to be like until you actually get the figure in your hands. So, I mean, that's pretty cool. I've yet to actually play Darksiders 3. I'm working my way through Darksiders 2. And hopefully I make it through all of them before Darksiders Genesis releases this year. So there's Fury, protagonist of Darksiders 3. Next up is War. And War was the protagonist of the first Darksiders game. And I'm getting a bit of a glare. And really you won't be able to see this very well until I take it out of the box. But that is a pretty amazing figure. So we'll get a look whenever I get all these out of their boxes. Next up is Death, who I think so far is my favorite character. I'm really digging playing as him in Darksiders 2. And the voice actor, which I believe is, I can't think of his name, but he played Top Dollar in The Crow. I believe he does the voice of Death, but it doesn't sound a lot like him. To me it sounds like John Hurt, which is cool because I absolutely love John Hurt. He was one of my favorite actors. And then we have, oh God, Fulgrim. And Fulgrim is not one of the horsemen. So Fury, War, and Death are each one of the horsemen. Fulgrim is a merchant that you run into in the game. They have not released the 4th horseman, Strife, yet, although there is a collector's edition for Darksiders Genesis that will include Strife. Although I won't be buying that one when it first comes out. Like, this initially retailed for, I believe, $400, and I did not spend anywhere near that much money for this. To me, that's just way too much for a collector's edition, no matter how nice it is. And this is nice. I mean, those figures look really good. So, next we have this, which should include the game. I think there's an art book, there's an amulet or a pendant, something like that. So let's open this up. And here is the Darksiders 3 Steelbook. Game is not in it yet. That's very cool. I do like steelbooks, so this will look nice on the shelf. And okay, so here is the pendant, which is that symbol that is in all of the Darksiders games. I guess it represents the horseman. So that's actually really cool. Like, I could actually see myself wearing this. Let me undo it here. Yeah. So, I'll give a better view of that in a bit. Blitz, what you doing, puppy? You shouldn't be there. The dog's likely to hit the camera at any moment. Oi. Alright, here is the Darksiders 3 official soundtrack, of course on CD, which is, it's starting to seem strange to get things on CDs, just because so many things are digital now when it comes to music, except for vinyl, which of course has made a comeback. Here's the Darksiders 3 game, so I will be transplanting this into the Steelbook. There is the art book, The Art of Darksiders 3. Take a look at it. I mean, it's an art book. It's pretty much what's expected. Although for really a $400 collector edition, they could have made this like a hardback book instead of a soft cover. There is all my DLC, which I'm not going to show. And that is it from that. And then finally, there is the wall scroll of Fury. And it looks like I'm going to have to cut this open. What I'll do is I'll open this and display it where it can be better seen. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go ahead and unbox all of the figures and show them. Okay, so I've unboxed all 4 figures here, and I will go one by one and give you my impressions of them. Just an overall impression, they are really well done. The detail on them is good, and they're heavy. The bases of these, I'm surprised at how heavy they are. I thought they would be hollow plastic, but that's not the case. Each of these bases is heavy, and you know, I don't think you're going to have to worry about these falling over. That said, I'm just going to go down the line here. So let's start with War. And I love the sculpting on War. I think he looks great. The paint is good. Not perfect, but good. My biggest complaints about War aren't with the way that he looks. I think he looks great. He's wobbly. He doesn't fit into his base as snugly as he should, so he wobbles. So I'm going to have to take care of that somehow. Maybe some hot glue or something, just so he doesn't wobble like this. My other issue is with the sword, Chaos Bringer. That's the name of the sword, right? It is cheap, hollow plastic. I mean, this is the part that's most likely to end up getting broken, which is a shame. They also didn't do a great job on painting this. You know, they did a dry brush, but it didn't leave a whole lot of paint on here. Not as much as it should have. I think that side's a little bit better. So, I mean, I'm pleased, but this surprises me that he is this wobbly, and I'm certainly going to make sure I take care of that before I display him. Just to give you a closer look. I mean, he looks great. Definitely looks like the character in the game. Alright, so next up we'll look at Death. Death looks good. I think the paint on his mask could be quite a bit better. I mean, not bad, but it could be better. I'm also kind of surprised that they don't have the place on his chest that he has during the entire game, where, and I haven't reached the end of the game yet, but it's like the souls of the Nephilim get embedded in his chest or something like that after his first fight. So I'm kind of surprised that's not there. But everything else, his weapons are also kind of cheap plastic, like Death's sword, or not Death's sword, War's sword. So, you know, gotta be a little bit more careful with that. And, you know, they didn't do the best job on the dry brushing on the skulls. Some of them don't have a whole lot of paint on them. But still, I think it's a really good, I keep calling these figures, but statue is probably more appropriate. I really do like it. Next up is Fury. And Fury was a pain in the ass for me, just because I could not figure out how to get this whip in her hand. It comes separate, and her hand is closed. It's like this. So this wasn't going to fit through. I finally figured out that you can take the end of the whip off and slide it through. It would have been nice if I had seen anything that told me that, because I struggled with that for a bit. But she looks good. I mean, other than that issue that I had with getting the whip to actually go in her hand, I don't really have any complaints about this figure. And then finally we have Vulgrim. If you haven't played the game, like I said, Vulgrim is a merchant. He appears in these circles that are located in parts of the game. And he looks good. I mean, with his, whatever that orb is. I mean, there's actual script on the scroll here. To be honest, I think in terms of the paint job, they did the best job with Vulgrim, because he does look really good. But that is it for the characters, and I'll just pan this over and you can see the pendant, so give you an idea of how large it is. But yeah, and it's on a nice cord, good quality cord. The only thing I have left to show you, down. The only thing I have left to show you is the wall scroll. So I'm going to hang that and show you that and wrap up the video. Okay, and here's the wall scroll. It looks very nice. It is a little bit larger than a standard size poster. It is 30 inches wide by around 39 inches tall. But it's made of a nice fabric and it looks really nice. Okay, so overall I really like this collector's edition. There's no way I would ever pay $400 for it like it was when it first came out. But for the price I paid for it, I'm happy. I mean, got some really cool statues. Of course, this means that sorry, dog's messing with stuff. It means that I'm eventually going to have to get the Strife figure, which I hope they do in the same scale. I think he's supposed to be, because that would be really weird if they didn't. But yeah, I dig these figures. I love the games. If you have not played the Darksiders games, the first two games are very Zelda-like and a lot of fun. I haven't played the third game yet. It's actually free this month if you have PS Plus. And from what I understand, it is more like Dark Souls. So, not sure what to think about that. It would have been nice had they kept the same kind of gameplay. Sorry about that. I had a quick issue with the camera. The battery ran out. So anyway, final thoughts. I'm pleased, as I mentioned before, if you haven't played the Darksiders games, I recommend that you try them out. Oh my god, cats everywhere. The first two are very Zelda-like. The third one is more like a Dark Souls game, from what I've heard. So, and the fourth one, Darksiders Genesis, looks to be more like a Diablo game or something like that. So they're definitely changing up the series. Hopefully it turns out well. Anyway, I know I'm going to try it out. I love this series. I like this set. And I hope you enjoyed. Thanks. Bye.